To take a day out and appreciate what someone else's role is in relation to the same child and its family is a real benefit, and I think people do appreciate that. Also hearing how people understand difficulties and the way that we all express those. I think from different agencies we all have our own professional jargon, and it's very difficult sometimes to know exactly what people mean when they'll use a particular phrase, whereas when you're training across agencies, I think that we make a real bid to say, use plain English, try and express things in a simple way, because that kind of in a way gives you a bit of a rehearsal for families, because if you're talking to families in a very professionally based language, it's totally confusing, and so I would say that's another benefit. People begin to, you know, consider and work respectfully with one another and try and, you know, understand what their individual roles are with a child and a family.
The children and the parents, seeing them take steps towards sort of making better choices for the children, and just seeing the children play. I mean, you'll see them playing, and it's just lovely. Opportunities that they didn't have before, opportunities within their community that they can actually walk to, and it's lovely. We work very closely with the health visiting service, very much so. We work with Job Centre Plus. We work with Adult Ed quite closely, putting lots of courses on. And really, the midwives, obviously, because that's where our bread and butter really, when the first, you know, when parents are first pregnant and everything.
I actually went to the school here. I grew up in this area, and my impressions of the area was you have low expectations of yourself, low aspirations, and I think through the Children's Centre, maybe in a couple of generations, we can change that and say, the world's your oyster, you can do whatever you want to do and be whatever you want to be.
You feel at home with people here, and then you know...
Oh yes, I enjoy coming very much. Yeah. Just socialise with the other mothers, really.
What's so good about coming here?
Well, it takes the pressure off occupying my grandchildren myself. It can be quite tiring with two young grandchildren.
Real success for the East Riding is the fact that the police have really embraced common assessment framework, and I know that traditionally that it wouldn't look as if that would fit with their role, but in fact what has happened is that one inspector in particular has really embraced CAFs and has seen it as a route to avoid some young people going down the criminal path. And so where there's been antisocial behaviour or persistent bullying, rather than taking kids down that route of becoming criminalised, he actually had the vision to see that, well, a common assessment would offer some insight into what's behind some of those behaviours. And I think that to me is really rewarding. You know, you can really see that you know, some young people will avoid being labelled and stigmatised, and you know, a CAF from the police's perspective is helpful to them because they've got an opportunity to understand a bit more about what's happening in localities. You know, and certainly of benefit to young people who live in those areas.